Unsolved 1906, the case of 48-year-old Jane Elizabeth Marriott. Jane Marriott was found dead with a broken neck in a brickyard on the Wells Road in Charlton on Sunday the 15th of April 1906. She was found in the bottom of a clay pit that was over 60 feet deep. She had lived in Main Street in Charlton. She had left home to make a number of purchases, and her husband became alarmed after she didn't return, and a search was made for her. The brickyard was owned by the Bulwell Brick Company. It was heard that Jane Marriott had been out drinking on Saturday night and had become quite drunk. A woman who had lived in Holly Gardens said that she had been coming up Bartholomew's Lane on Saturday night when she had heard a scream, and then a few yards further on she heard another scream and saw a woman standing under a lamp. She said that she asked the woman what the matter was and said that the woman then screamed out, "Mrs. Marriott." The woman said that the woman had been bareheaded but had had something tied under her chin. She said that she looked very wild and that she was terrified after she heard the woman scream out. She said that she then ran away and that she didn't see the woman again. A man from Thornywood Lane said that he was told on the Saturday evening to be careful as there was a mad woman about. He said that he later saw a bareheaded woman crying out as though in pain, but said that he didn't speak to her, but did say that she called out to him, "Oh, do come to me." He said that he then went on his way, but said that the woman followed him. He said that shortly after a man went up to the woman and walked along with her, and he said that he gathered that the man was trying to persuade the woman to go home. He said that the woman then went over a bridge and that they separated. He said that he did not think that he would be able to identify the man again. He said that shortly after the woman went over the bridge with the man going off in the other direction, and that he also went over the bridge, and that shortly after he heard her cry out, "Dad," and when she was asked who Dad was, she cried out, "God in heaven." He said that she then reeled against a wall and seemed to be gasping for breath, and so a glass of water was sent for her, which seemed to revive her. The man said that he then saw the woman walk away, making some bad language, and said that he left her in Thornywood Lane, behaving in that fashion at about 11:45 p.m. He said that when he asked the woman her name, she had told him Carter of Charlton, and it was noted that Carter was Jane Marriott's maiden name. It was heard during the inquest that allegations had been made that Jane Marriott had been served with drink in the Crown and Anchor public house on Saturday evening whilst in a drunken condition, but the landlord of the Crown and Anchor refused that and said that a woman did seek admission, but that she was not in a proper condition and was refused, and that he had witnesses to prove that. However, the coroner refused his denial, saying that he had 3 witnesses that had said they had seen Jane Marriott drinking in the Crown public house on Saturday night. After the coroner summed up, he returned a verdict that Jane Marriott had died from a broken neck, but that there was no evidence to show under what circumstances it was sustained. Following the inquest, the landlord of the Crown and Anchor public house in Snayton Street was summoned for selling beer and port wine to a drunken person on the 14th of April 1906, as well as selling intoxicating liquor to Jane Marriott. It was heard that Jane Marriott had met another woman in Snayton Street on the afternoon of Saturday the 14th of April 1906 at about 6 p.m, and that they had gone to the Crown and Anchor public house where it was heard, although they were already drunk, they were served with beer. Afterwards, the other woman returned the compliment and called for port wine, which they were also served with. They had been in the pub from about 6:10 p.m. to 6:50 p.m, after which they went to the Stag and Hounds, when the landlord refused to serve Jane Marriott due to her condition. However, it was heard that Jane Marriott and her friend went back to the Crown and Anchor public house, where they were again served with beer, staying there from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. The court heard that although they were served on that occasion by the waiter, that the landlord and the landlady, who were behind the bar in the same room, could easily have seen the condition that the women had been in. It was noted that the landlord had objected to the condition that Jane Marriott was in at about 8 p.m. and had turned her out of the house, but that she had returned a few minutes later and stayed for some further time. It was noted that although the other woman could be brought to the court, that Jane Marriott could not be brought, as after leaving the public house she had found her way that evening to the brickfield in Wells Road, where she was found dead the following day. After the court heard that the evidence was proved, the landlord was fined £5 for permitting drunkenness. The Bulwell Brick Company yard in Wells Road has since been redeveloped, but was roughly where Eccles Way is today. Nothing more is known about how Jane Marriott came to be in the bottom of the clay pit in the brickyard with a broken neck, and the cause of her death remains a mystery to this day.